So good morning, everybody. eGrowth is an ecosystem for small businesses. We started our journey in 2014 with uh, just a moment, with an idea to bring small businesses together and help them grow. All right. Ever since we've been doing various activities to ensure that small businesses come together, their interests are taken care of. Even right now in the COVID days, we are looking at how is it that we can bring them together. So one of the initiatives is the CEO talks, wherein we have been hosting a talk every morning between 9:30 to 10:30, and on Saturdays we have this panel discussion as all of you are here today. All right. So by 2019, and we were around 25,000 entrepreneurs on this platform, and right now as we speak we are around 28,000, and we intend to close this year at around 100,000. The values of eGrowth as a brand are trust, courage, and growth. These are some of the images of the events that we've conducted over the years. We went for a road trip to Punjab. We went for a road trip to West India. We've also been to East India, to Uttar Pradesh. And then we've conducted a number of boot camps, so various trainings and workshops we've organized with different stakeholders. The one at the bottom is an event which was hosted by TAI at Shimla, and I was one of the speakers there. So on the left, you see the image in the office of the Industries Commissioner of the state of Himachal Pradesh. All right. The one in the middle, this one is a boot camp which was organized in Jharkhand, in close to Jamshedpur. This was for the tribals of the state of Jharkhand. And then at the top on the right, there is an image from Dalmia Vidya Mandir, which is a Dalmia Bharat Group organization. So we were working with the principals of their schools. And then on the left is a bootcamp which was organized by Mr. Vinod Pandita, while he was delivering the Powerful CEO. That was the name of the program. And then we've been doing a lot of activity for women entrepreneurs. Celebrating Womanhood is our flagship program, which happens around the Women Day. We have already done 3 seasons, and out of these 2 seasons we did with Federation of Buying Agents. And then last year, 2019, as we completed 5 years of eGrowth, we started looking at what next. And that is when we realized that designing the business is something which is very important. And that is where we delivered the leverage model, which is a model to help you design your business. So this was the inaugural event. And I spoke to you about the CEO talks. So CEO talks stands for collaboration. So CEO is not Chief Executive Officer. CEO is collaboration, excellence, and opportunities, wherein we are bringing different stakeholders of the entrepreneurship ecosystem to come together, share their knowledge, share their know-how, and build the community. So we've had people who from technology space, we've had people who professionals as well as wealth consultants. Then we've had, this one is going to be our, I think, eighth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is going to be our ninth, 10th discussion, in fact. All right, wherein we've invited the industry bodies, and they will be sharing with you how is it that you can get value from them, and you are free to please ask how is it that you can draw that value from them. All right, so this is going to be an interesting discussion. We've had different business coaches come here and share with us. We've also done quite a few sessions in sales, marketing, and branding space, also in well-being. On Sundays, we have an interesting session. We call this as the Chopal. Chopal experience laziness. So this is where entrepreneurs, they come on the session, and we don't discuss business. We discuss other aspects of life. It could be maybe your upbringing, maybe your childhood, maybe how did you start your business. So sweet little things which help you build the bond. All right. And then we've also been having sessions in the engineering and automation space. We had JP Singh, who spoke about solar energy and how to deploy it. Now, the next question is, how do you associate with eGrowth? The first piece is you can go on our portal and register your profile. So right now there are around 18,000 business owners on the portal. You can post your blogs and articles. You can publish events. You can list your requirements as well as your offers. This is how you can engage with other business owners. We are also present on social media. Our social media handle is eGrowth.org. So you can join us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. And we've got around 50 WhatsApp groups. So based on which city are you from or what industry you are from, we'll be glad to add you to that space. All right. And I really urge that you join our YouTube channel. This is where we have been posting various videos. There's a lot of data right now. There are around 250 videos on the YouTube channel. This talk, as well as the previous CEO talks, all of them are there on the YouTube channel. In case you missed the previous ones, please go and see them. There's a lot for you to gain and to take your business to the next level. Here's a list of how we engage with our community. We've got eGrowth Inner Circle. I'll speak about it in a while. We organize a lot of workshops and trainings. eGrowth Mixers are networking meetups which are hosted by our members. eGrowth Town Hall is a meeting which happens on every Thursday. This is a closed room meeting only for the eGrowth paid subscribers. Then we have Introduction to eGrowth, which happens on Fridays, 3 p.m. This is open to everybody in case you want to come and know what is available to you in eGrowth and how is it that you can grow with eGrowth. CEO talks happen every weekday, or rather not weekday, every day of the week, morning 9:30 to 10:30. Okay. On the weekends, we have the panel discussion and Chapal sessions. All right. Um, Sanjeev ji, can I please ask you to share something about the Inner Circle? Sanjeev ji is our president for the Inner Circle. He is the one who is nurturing this baby called Inner Circle.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Inner Circle is there twice a month, and believes in distributed consulting. We do online these days, and earlier we were doing offline as well. This it started with Gurgaon initially. Now we are Delhi NCR and Pan India soon, and we'll be having global Inner Circle meetings also. This is agnostic to any industry, and the best part of this Inner Circle is the create session. In the create session, we talk about the challenges of the business, the resolution of those challenges, the empathy towards it. We analyze the business, and we try to develop the trust in it, and we empower and enable the people. It also includes industry connects, like people like you who are there in the industry. We invite them, and they give the talks to us. Over to Atul.
Thank you. Thanks, Sanjeev ji. How is it that you can grow within eGrowth? The foundation of eGrowth is collaboration, excellence, and opportunities. The first year is you can join us for free, wherein you can create your profile on the portal. You got read-only access. You also have access to our social media platforms. Second level is registration, wherein you can have a verified profile on the portal. You have read-write access. That means you can start posting blogs and articles. You can also participate in the eGrowth mixers. You would pay every time that you participate in a mixer. That's pay as you go. Third is the annual or the enterprise subscription. Here you start having connections as well. So you can start connecting one-on-one with other business owners. You also create what we call as a business portrait, which is the profile of your business. And in case you have multiple businesses, you can have multiple business portraits as well. Here you have the privilege of hosting eGrowth mixers, and you have free access to eGrowth mixers across India. Next level is the Inner Circle. Here you have access to the Inner Circle meetings. As Sanjeev ji just said, there are 2 Inner Circle meetings every month. So that means 24 Inner Circle meetings in a year. You also have access to the second degree contacts. So contacts of all the people in the Inner Circle. You get those contacts as well, and you can reach out to them to reach out to their contacts. All right. On top of it, you also get access to the industry connect. So that means like today we've got the industry bodies here. We can help you connect to the relevant industry bodies, and so that you can take your business to the next level. And the topmost is being a partner. This is where we look at revenue sharing and co-branding and even co-creating products. So, and when you subscribe to eGrowth, you get a number of deals. So one of the deals which is available right now, there's a company called NX Incorporated who are offering free web hosting for 24 months. So you can avail this for up to 3 domains, 15 mailboxes, and 1.5 GB of web hosting. All right. There's another partner of ours, EvoConnect. They are offering free digital business card. So this would normally cost you maybe around 500 rupees for a year, and this you're getting complimentary because you're a member of eGrowth. Favors is a company which is into sanitization and into deep cleaning services. They offer 10% discount on their services to eGrowth members. RS232, this is Sanjeev Ji's company. They are an Apple dealer. They are offering cashback offers on iPhone, and there are lots of other deals. When you are joining eGrowth, we'll be ready to help you with those. Here are this is how you can reach out to us. Our portal is egrowth.org. 892-092-6565. This is the number of Ronica. She is our community manager. She is your man Friday. So whenever you have any kind of a challenge, you want to know more about eGrowth, you are trying to get into our portal, you don't know what to do, she'll be able to help you with it. 98-101-62028. This is Sanjeev Ji's number. He will be more than glad to help you with anything related to Inner Circle or otherwise as well. And in case you want to reach out to me, you can send me a mail anytime, atul@egrowth.org. I handle this mail myself, and I'll generally answer within 24 hours. All right. So this was about eGrowth, and let's take the conversation to the next level. All right. So today the conversation that we have is a very, very interesting conversation. It is industry bodies, your friends. Many of you would already be members of different associations, chambers, and many of you would not be members right now. We've invited some of the members, so I'll just introduce them to you. Okay. We've invited them, and thanks a lot to all the panelists for taking time out. All right. This is a very interesting discussion. Here, you will be able to ask your question, or some of your questions will be answered, that what is an industry body? What value do they provide to you? What are the differences between different industry bodies? And most important, how is it that you as an entrepreneur can extract that value from the industry body? All right. So awesome. So I will go by the first one is Dr. Pandey is there. So Dr. Pandey, so what we'll do is we'll ask each one of them to introduce themselves. In the same breath, if you can please introduce your industry body, and then also share about when the industry body came and in what space does the industry body operate. Okay. So Dr. L.K. Pandey, he is the chairman of the Delhi chapter of Indian Industries Association. He is a well-read person and is into the agricultural space in his personal life. I will ask him to share in a bit. Okay. The next panelist, we've got Ruchita Agarwal. She is from TIE, Delhi NCR. TIE is the Indus Entrepreneurs. This is an organization which started in the Silicon Valley by the Indian people who went there from IITs and IIMs. Then they realized that they needed to support the upcoming entrepreneurs. This was the genesis of TIE. Okay. And then today TIE has, well, I don't have the exact figure, chapters across the globe, I think 16 or 17 countries. And Delhi is among the most vibrant and maybe the largest and the most active chapter. I'm a member of TIE. I'm a charter member here, and I can definitely vouch for it. The quality and the level of conversations which I have seen in TIE, I have not seen anywhere. So Ruchita, thanks for taking time out.
Thanks,
I'll invite you to speak in a moment. All right. Next, we have Lokesh Parashar with us. Lokesh Parashar, by education, he is a civil engineer, and by heart, he is a humanitarian. He is somebody who who believes in sustainability and has been taking a lot of initiatives in that space. He is the president of an organization called Federation of Buying Agents. So among us, they are probably the only ones who represent the buyers. Rest, all of us are sellers. So Lokesh, I'll give you an opportunity to speak in a moment. Then we have with us Gaurav Sharma. Gaurav Sharma is from an organization called GIZ. GIZ, it's a tongue twister for me. I'll not be able to pronounce it. I'll invite Gaurav to share the name. But GIZ is a German body which helps to take industry as well as other sectors of the developing world to the next level. And he is from the India unit of GIZ, and he'll be sharing with us some aspects of how GIZ supports the Indian industry. All right. Then we were also expecting somebody from SAPC. I don't think he has come, Vikrant. The moment he comes, I'll invite him as well. And who else? All right, that's it for now. So, Dr. Pandey, over to you, please.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
थोड़ा सा ऊंचा बोलिए, please.
Good morning. My name is Dr. L.K.
Still
Pandey.
louder, sir. हाँ जी.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, my name is Dr. L.K. Pandey. I am chapter chairman of Indian Industries Association. So, Indian Industries Association is almost 30 years old organization, and the organization was started from Meerut, and then Meerut, Saharanpur, Muzaffarnagar people joined it. And later on, its head office moved to Lucknow. So Delhi chapter is going to become national chapter of this organization, and right now we are having more than 8,000 entrepreneurs as its working members. Indian Industries Association is basically working for the development and hand holding of very small, micro, small, medium enterprises, and it is almost various task committees of state governments and of course central government. It's more active, and it has very deep roots in Uttar Pradesh industrial sector, what I say. But right now, I mean, as in my leadership, you can say that I'm just trying to create a national chapter and most vocal for small, micro and small and medium enterprises in Delhi. And my own background goes to agriculture and agribusiness. I worked for almost 30 years, and my bottom line was transformation of agriculture into agribusiness. So I started calling 30 years back itself. Don't just limit yourself to agriculture. Make it agribusiness, and agribusiness is important for small to large farmers, and let us move from subsistence farming to commercial farming, and everyone should have the stake into it. And I really worked throughout the country, and you name any district, and I may have one or two business partners there and distributors there, input distributors there, who are working there. I also worked in various countries for seed production, crop production, like New Zealand, like Thailand, Africa, Ghana. We recently did one project in Ghana, how to grow tomatoes in protected and open field condition, and that project was supported by Ministry of External Affairs, Government of India, and we were technical partners there. So my agriculture story is a bit different, but why I am telling about agriculture and agribusiness, because I found many similarities in agriculture and MSMEs. So
So Pandey, can we move on? Okay. So
yeah, please,
thanks a
please.
lot. Just one question I have. What will be the distribution of manufacturing and non-manufacturing companies in Indian Industries Association?
So Indian members are for from manufacturing as well as service sector. It can be around maybe 90% plus 10%. 90% manufacturers and 10% service sector service providers like legal expert
Fair enough.
consultants.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Right.
thank you.
So that was important. So
Yes.
manufacturing is important. So that's why I asked you. All right.
Yes.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Lokesh ji.
हाँ जी सर.
हाँ जी.
So
लोकेश जी हाजिर हो.
बिल्कुल सर, बिल्कुल हाजिर है, Your Honor.
हाँ जी सर.
Federation, I will give you 3 clues of. It is a buyers council. It is your foreign business affairs department for any manufacturing or services industry, and we are also Federation of Business Ambassadors for India. So this is how I can sum up FBA. Our industry is unique in the sense that any trade body, whether it's TIE or IIA here or I would CIFIC, all those have different members. They have their ecosystem works around India. Except TIE, I would say it is an international body. Federation has international connects, and we bring business as well. So trade body as a member itself is giving away business to all the manufacturing people, because whatever business our members carry, they are just service providers. They service the buyer. But the business has to go to a factory. Somebody has to manufacture the product. That's how we earn our money as a service fee from the customers. So when we do any activity, we not only bring Forex revenues for our own members as my own business, but we also bring Forex and business for exporters or somebody who's not into exports. We can create them as exporter because we understand how to export. Is that logic enough to understand who we are?
Yeah. So, okay. So for you, I have a wild card question. You are somebody who's started a federation. So what is it that got you into it? And
as you rightly said, I'm born in a village and I'm a very community person. My upbringing has been, my father was a deputy secretary, a very honest man in the Parliament of India. My mother has been a great networker. I'm a master networker by born, I would say, from my mother. How they struggled to bring us to India, to Delhi, and then give us this opportunity that I'm addressing a audience today. Buying agency is a very unique business. We kill each other in terms of brand building. Let's say if I'm, let's say Ruchika is my buyer, so I will be selling myself as a service provider. That, ma'am, I will be a very good buying agent for you to bring to India. Ajay is not good. Sudhir is not good. They don't have a team, or they are very harsh and rude, and they don't have factory. So we kill each other personally. And that has been the norm for almost 50 years when buying agency business happened. I could see that change when I entered into business in 1993. And I saw as a macroeconomic telescopic view, I already had that view, as my mother always told me, think big. So why every trade association every industry has an association? Why buying agents don't have an association? And when I met Ajay and we were free competitors, we could have cut each other's throat to get a customer. It is in that sense we were working. And then when we synergized and we smiled at each other at one of the webinars, like today we are sitting each other, we could see that we have a similar mindset. That we want to think big. We understand if we think big, our business will sustain and survive. And that is how we could create and break this wall between the buying agent that, guys, you need to be also together. This is the better together which every industry has. I would say very small lame example of even auto rickshaws, cycle rickshaws, e-rickshaws. Any new industry crops up, they have an association which protects them. So we have 3G formula which we created: generation of your business, grievances of your business, and where are the growth opportunities for your business. That's how we formed it.
Great, thank you. So moving on to Ruchita.
Thank you, Atul. I will, I think, take the cue from Dr. Pandey and Mr. Lokesh. TIE is a global not-for-profit that works with entrepreneurs. Like you rightly said, we started in the Silicon Valley in 1992 by a group of entrepreneurs who wanted to help support entrepreneurship in their diaspora. We came to India in 1999. We are 17 chapters in India alone and 61 chapters globally across 17 countries and growing.
So my figures are not way off.
Yeah, you're not very way off. I must say, as a charter member, you're very clued in. So we are a membership-based organization, and I think and we are therefore an industry body that supports entrepreneurship. The whole aim is to curate and encourage as many entrepreneurs and startups as possible, because they are the next job creators. And the wealth they create is going to benefit the country. And we essentially started talking about entrepreneurship and startups when it was not so fancy to be an entrepreneur. I think from a perspective of how we are different from other industry bodies is we are very collaborative in the way we work. Whether it is FICCI, whether it is CII, whether it is NASSCOM, we tend to believe that there is a lot of work that needs to be done. And I think wanting to support entrepreneurship, we need all these industry bodies to come together. Everybody has their own space. We work in terms of mentoring, and this mentoring could actually be either to generally survive or to grow, raise funds, and to help get your customers and industry connects as well. So I think we're all in the same space, but there is enough collaborative effort that needs to go in. We are a huge country, and the way startups are mushrooming, and particularly in these times, I think collaborations are what's going to help entrepreneurs tide this over.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
So something really interesting about TiE is that you are I would say not harnessing, bringing together the technology minds. Okay. The interesting piece of technology is the technology entrepreneurs, they are very aloof inside their mind, and technology works only when it is networked.
That's true. That's true. Actually, that's an interesting point that you made, Atul. When we started out in the Silicon Valley, obviously because of the nature of where it started out in Silicon Valley at that time was where all the technology was happening. And when Padma Shri, Dr. Saurabh Srivastava got TiE to India and launched TiE in Delhi, we realized that Delhi and the Indian ecosystem was not yet, the tech ecosystem was not really quite as advanced as that of the Silicon Valley. So we actually did have to go through a lot of changes, and our focus changed at that time to help support, the second generation entrepreneurs, more retail focused entrepreneurs. And therefore we actually started working in what we now call special interest groups. So we have small groups, which obviously do have a very, very strong focus in technology, because over the last decade or so, a lot of technology has invaded us. But we also support a lot of SMEs, MSMEs, and traditional businesses as well. So yes, we do have a lot of tech focus, but that's essentially because that's what the markets become like.
So please tell us something about Dr. Saurabh Srivastava. Who is he, and how is he associated today?
So Dr. Saurabh Srivastava is the chairman emeritus of TiE Delhi NCR. He's an IITian who graduated and started Zanza, which he sold off. And amongst other things, he's also started Indian Angel Network, which is a sister concern for TiE, and NASSCOM. And he also chairs a lot of other organizations that promote entrepreneurship. Essentially, we can call him the grandfather of the entrepreneurship ecosystem in India, I guess.
Fantastic. I think that says all. Thank you. We'll move on to Gaurav.
Hi, good morning all.
गौरव, सबसे पहले तो ये बताइए कि आप इस समय कहाँ बैठे हैं? इसमें हमारी काफी दिलचस्पी है.
So I'm in Himachal right now, in my hometown, which is Chamba.
Amazing.
So this is how the lockdown is going.
Let me tell a trivia about Chamba to everybody. So Chamba is a state which has a history of, Chamba is a state. I'm not talking about a district. I'm not talking about a city. Chamba was an erstwhile state which has a history of more than 1100 years. And in the entire history, it has never been invaded by anybody. All right. So that's Chamba for you. Hanji Gaurav, batai.
So yeah, thank you very much, Atul, once again. So why I'm here, first of all, because most of you belong to the industrial ecosystem. Some of you are directly connected to it. Some of you are representing industry bodies here. I am from GIZ. GIZ is a German organization which implements bilateral projects in India. So these are the projects of mutual cooperation between Indian government and the German government. So the project which I'm implementing right now in Punjab is innovation promotion in MSMEs, wherein we work very closely with the industry associations. We call it BMOs, Business Membership Organization, because this term synchronizes very well with what the German terminology is being used for associations. So we are working very closely with associations, and we have a good idea of how associations work. What are different kinds of associations? For example, some are working at a different level, others at a different level, and how entrepreneurs are connected to it and how they are trying to extract value of it. So under this project, we are also we are building the capacity of BMOs so that they can take care of the needs. They can cater to, or they can establish networks which cater to the needs of entrepreneurs. So briefly, I'll sum it up like this. So I look forward to answer more questions from Atul once we move ahead in the discussion. Thank you.
So one, if you could please say the German name of GIZ, I'd love to hear that.
No. That's a tongue twister for me also. I cannot pronounce it.
Okay, got it. Got it. So got you on the wrong foot. All right. So
Yeah.
how old is GIZ? When was it started? Yeah. And when was it started, India, and when did it come to India? Two questions.
So,
hello.
Okay, broadly, we are working in India for last 45 years. Earlier, it was hello. Audible?
Yes.
Yeah, you're audible. Yeah.
Yeah. So earlier it was it started as Indo-German collaboration. Then the name changed to GTZ. Now it is GIZ, and roughly it has an operational experience in India of more than 40 years.
Okay.
So if you remember, if you have heard of these Indo-German tool rooms, they were set up under the joint collaboration between German and Indian government. So some are as old as more than 40-45 years also.
Atul, I can help Gaurav because I know GIZ because of my MSME Connects. Rajesh Batra, who's coming today to our webinar, he works very closely with GIZ. It's the German Society of International Cooperation Limited in English name.
Yeah, so English name everybody knows. German is the one we're talking about.
Well, we are all Indians, so let's have English.
So, all right. So since we have a German element today, Guten Tag to everybody. Guten Tag is good day. Okay, that's all German which I know. All right, fantastic. So four of you, thanks a lot for filling in. Maybe I'll invite Ajay Abrol to just say hello to everybody.
Guten Tag.
Okay, Guten Tag. Thank you. अजय अगर हाँ जी आपका चेहरा देखना चाहेंगे. So he is actually the right hand of Federation of Buying Agents, and Lokesh is actually the left hand.
We are actually not hands but legs.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Hands are our members.
All right, great. हाँ जी.
So friends, welcome to the Federation of Buying Agents. We are basically we bring the buying aspect to the entire discussion, and definitely would like to know more about each industry and see how we can together work to make the nation stronger. The current situation has definitely opened up a huge opportunity for all of us to grow beyond looking inwards, but I'm saying looking outwards to showing the world our strength and our synergies where we can support and grow with them. So this is an awesome opportunity which we should not let go through. And I welcome everybody to come on board with Federation, with eGrowth, and together collaborate towards a greater excellence, as Atul says, so.
Thank you.
As a tech-savvy superpower India.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is true.
All right.
That is true.
Fantastic. So great. So let's again start. So Pandeyji, Dr. Pandey, if you can please share what is the value that an association brings. So an association, a chamber brings. So we'll go through this question. All four of you, please answer it one by one, and then we'll move to the next question.
Yeah. So this is my experience. What I'm going to share.
Yeah, please.
I found that entrepreneurs is very small and micro entrepreneurs. They feel very alone, and they need kind of support, which association can provide very well. Association can provide required hand holding, number one. Number two, their developmental inputs association can provide. Number three, kind of support available at government forum and from government departments. So even still, I understand that lot of entrepreneurs, are they are not aware of kind of schemes available, and we run awareness programs that these schemes are there, and you can avail this. So, and then we have various facilitation centers, so various facilitation cells, so like IP, legal cell, and even when various new things enter into industry from government regulation, like GST, like any other new system of taxation. So these things at that time we need to educate our entrepreneurs, and because entrepreneurs have heterogeneous group of people, where very low level of education to high level of education, kind of element we have. So we have to take care that how e-governance, how they should be standing on the right side of the law and compliances. So I think if they are not getting the support of association, they may fall apart from the mainstream. So this is my own experience, which we deal day-to-day basis. Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. Next, let's move to Lokesh.
Yes.
Yeah. Please build on this conversation from here.
Well, I would say benefit to the members. The FBA came into picture, and we realized when we started talking to various entities, and we were not surprised because we are not the known people. We do not have factories, we don't have manufacturing units, we do not have labor. All, and I can say a big buying house would have primarily, an average buying house would be having 25, 30 people at the max. Large section of a buying agent would be a freelance business. Hence, we were totally unrepresented at all platforms, and nobody could actually connect. And when we took up the challenge, we said, guys, we bring business to India not only for us but also for factories, and that's how the government of India took us seriously. I personally represented Federation at the trade body, which is the highest trade body of Ministry of Commerce, and that is what I'm good. We are going to give the benefit to the members. Personally, we speak about our members as buying agents, but if buying agents grow, I'm sure all the industries, we are bringing so many virtual summits, virtual inspection for platforms. Anything who's going to be doing an international business, they must connect to FBA to understand how the international business will run.
Fantastic. Ruchita, can we hear from you?
Yes, so I think we bring in the collaboration and the network effect. I think one thing that sets TiE apart is that most of our members and mentors who associate with us do it voluntarily. They do not have an agenda other than wanting to help support the ecosystem. And I think that makes it extremely relevant for entrepreneurs. It's very lonely for most entrepreneurs and founders. Each entrepreneur has a very different kind of requirement which we try and achieve. So TiE essentially actually functions on what we call our pillars, which is networking, knowledge sharing, education, and help in fundraising. And largely all of this is achieved through the process of mentoring. We bring to you all of this through various platforms, one-on-one, one-to-many, a lot of events that we do, focus on conversations. And I think most of our members, the one thing that resonates with all of them is the fact that at an event at TiE, the senior-most entrepreneur, the most successful of entrepreneurs is as accessible as a delegate. So I think that's essentially what makes TiE successful. It's the strength of the members and the strength of and the willingness of people to give back to the ecosystem. What you can take away from TiE is the value of the network, like I said, and reach out to us for mentoring, and we'll be happy to help out wherever we can, in whichever way we can.
Fantastic. So let me ask you some directed questions.
Sure.
What is the membership base of TiE in India, globally, in India and in Delhi?
So Delhi would have, broad figures, Delhi would have about 1,300 members, about 280 charter members. Of course, the database would be much longer, would be much bigger. Our connects, we would be connected to the who's who in the industry, essentially. But from a membership perspective, we would have 300 charter members. Charter members would be senior successful professionals and entrepreneurs who actually bring to the ecosystem their value, their worth, and their knowledge, and help us in putting up all these activities for you. We have about 500 plus mentors, 700 plus service partners who showcase their products, etc. Globally, I think we have about 10,000 plus membership base in total. But again, like I said, the network and the second and the third degree of networks is much larger.
Definitely, yeah. And would you like to name some of the poster boys for TiE? I know it's a difficult question.
No, so,
it will have almost as many characters as the image behind you.
Yes, so okay. From a global perspective, Desh Deshmukh, Vish Mishra, Kanwal Rekhi, Saurabh Srivastav. From an India perspective, Ashish Hemrajani of Book My Show, Shadi.com, who am I missing? Just Dial, down south. Delhi would have Deep Kalroff, Deep Kalroff, Make My Trip, Sanjeev Bikhchandani of Naukri, Dinesh Agarwal of IndiaMart. So I'm the who's who in the startup ecosystem. And in investors, we are practically connected to everybody. We work very closely with Startup India and Invest India. We are working very closely with the state governments, while the mandate for Delhi is to promote entrepreneurship in the Delhi NCR ecosystem. Being one of the oldest and largest chapters, our reach actually is far wider, and in fact, in some cases, even global. If that answers your question, Atul.
Right. So if you can please tell us something about your flagship programs. Events, rather, yeah.
Yes. So like I mentioned earlier, we've divided what we do in what we call special interest groups. So depending upon our member group and the interest from them, we have 12 of these, which cover things like internet and telecom. We've got one on education and training. We've got one on MSME. We've got one on food and food services. So we've got 12 of these special interest groups. Each of these events, each of these groups does a lot of events. These events could be very small events, which are about a huddle of about 15 to 20 people. And we have larger events, annual events, which is a day-long event, depending on the size and scale. But I think all of this actually culminates into what we call our TiE Global Summit. This is, it's our annual event. It's one of the largest events in the country in entrepreneurship. That sees about 3,000 plus of people, 500 plus of investors, hordes and hordes of entrepreneurs, people from the ecosystem, representatives from the government. This is a more curated, focused, with very definitive conversations. Various stages of entrepreneurs will have specific takeaways from the event. We also do what we call the Startup Expo. We've been doing it for about 4 years now. That's more like a mela. It's a walk-in. It's essentially to create that information for people at large, for students who would want to venture into entrepreneurship and are still, still trying to figure out whether it's the right thing for them or not. That sees about 20,000 kind of audience, has about 300 to 400 exhibitors and startups showcasing their products and services. We do about 1,000 plus mentoring sessions and an equal number of investor meetups that day. So that's like a 1 day long mela on startups and for entrepreneurs.
I think we need to have a separate session for TiE. So just one more question. Where do you host TiE Global Summit?
The TiE Global Summit or the TiECon, depending on the nomenclature we are using that year, we typically host it at Taj Palace. We are bursting at the seams at Taj Palace. We so far don't have a bigger space in Delhi to be able to, a centrally located bigger space that can host that kind of a conference yet. But I believe
I must just say that I just love that event. We've been associated with TiE Global Summit for a couple of years now. And it is for everybody who's listening that this is the Makkah of entrepreneurship in India. Okay. And believe you me, that has got curated by a handful of people who run their own businesses, supported by the TiE Secretariat. This is the power of an association. This is the power of an industry body. Okay. This is probably why you should join an industry body. So thanks, Ruchita, for creating this. Gaurav,
thank you so much.
Yeah. I'll come back to you with the next set of questions. Gaurav.
Yeah, so based upon my experience working back with the MSMEs and industry associations for around 10 years, I would like to answer it differently. So there are three kind of values which an association brings to its member. I'll start with the basic one where this association becomes the voice of an individual MSME to raise and address their concerns and to culminate networking among MSMEs. Then comes the intermediate level, wherein there's a responsive interfacing between entrepreneurs, between MSMEs and the associations. The requirements of MSMEs like market requirements, technical consultancy, accounting, digital, etc. These are handled by associations through network linkages. And then comes the advanced one, wherein associations are providing in-house services which relate to consultancy, creation of common infrastructures for industries, leveraging government schemes, thinking about the sustainability of the entire industrial ecosystem in that region, business diversification systems. So I've tried to, divide these or distribute these set of values into three different kinds. So because we have associations which have members to the scale of 500, 550, then we have some organizations which have around 8,000 members. Then we have organizations like TiE also. So based upon my experience, I think this is how I can answer the value proposition which an association brought to its member can be.
Right. So I'll just I can definitely see one thing, that it is beneficial to be the last one to speak. You get the time to make notes.
Yeah. No, I made it in the morning before I had 5-10 minutes.
So thanks for taking time out. But so just to add to this, what GIZ in particular brings. So you spoke about the tool rooms. So for the benefit of everybody, tool rooms are common infrastructure for the Indian industry. Okay.
Yes.
I think we've got around 16 to 17 tool rooms across India. I have been to 3 places which have tool rooms. So I went to Jamshedpur, which has Indo-Danish or Indo-German? I think it has got Indo-Danish tool room. Okay, so that was established in collaboration with the Danish government. Okay, I also know the son of the founding managing director of the Indo-Danish tool room. So he tells me what is the kind of effort that he put to establish that tool room. Okay, now that is there in Jamshedpur. Jamshedpur is the heart of manufacturing in Eastern India. It is one of the largest manufacturing hubs of India. Right. Then I also happen to go to Aurangabad, which has the Indo-German tool room. Right. Now, this place, Aurangabad, Waluj, it is again a manufacturing hub, an auto manufacturing hub. Amazing industry. Okay, the third one is Ludhiana, which again has a tool room. Okay, the others I don't know where all they are. So means obviously we can get to that. But what I'm saying is, one tool room gets established in a place, the face of industry in that area changes. All of a sudden, you have manufacturers who are able to do a lot more because one tool room. Okay, so for those who don't know what a tool room is, so can you please tell me what is a tool room?
Yeah, so if I speak from the perspective of the genesis of tool rooms, with the start of this industrial revolution, individual industries were not that equipped with specialized machines and technologies. So that was the basic intent of setting up a tool room, that the technology or the machinery which is not available in-house with the industry can be facilitated through a tool room. So talking about the present times, we have technologies like 3D printing, rapid prototyping, and the list is huge, which support industry in terms of design and development of new product, supporting them in research and development, sometimes establishing market linkages also. Just a recent case I can tell you, we are supporting, as you mentioned about Ludhiana, Central Tool Room Ludhiana is a project partner with GIZ. So we are also supporting them in design and development of a COVID-19 PPE, which is a face shield. So we have already produced some 4,000, 5,000 number of these PPs, and these are to be distributed in the infrastructure which supports the industrial ecosystem. And recently, around 3-4 years back, Ministry of MSME has put in a lot of effort and resources to renovate or upgrade the central tool rooms, and now they have been termed as MSME technology centers. So yeah, but at the same time, in the present times, a lot of industry has its own industrial or machinery setup. Technology wise, they are also updated. Then we have different schemes of Government of India wherein common facility center, creation of common facility centers is also promoted. So, but still, micro and small industries are still taking benefit of these central tool rooms. And the one you talked about in Aurangabad is also a project partner. And we are also helping CTR Ludhiana in establishing a entrepreneurship development center there. So this is how we are working with these ecosystem partners.
Fantastic. So a big thank you to all of you. You've given us different insights or different aspects of the ecosystem around industry. All right, let's move to the next question. What do you understand by the different terms? A chamber, an association, a federation, a council, a board? If we can start with that. Pandey ji, you being the first, आपको कहानी शुरू करनी पड़ती है.
Thank you, sir.
You can actually, Ajay, Atul, you can ask Gaurav now, and then you go back to Mr. Pandey.
चलो गौरव से पूछ लेते हैं.
Gaurav, that would be better.
ये उल्टा हो गया, ये बूमरांग.
So no, this is good. I was actually willing to answer this.
Yeah, please.
So these are, first of all, these are different terminologies with a minor difference. For example, association, as we all understand, is a member body wherein individual industries associate and become a member. And then we have an institutional setup of an organization or an association in which we deal with our members. Second is when it comes to chamber and federation. So going by the example, it appears that chambers and federations are more like association or group of association. For example, if I talk about one of our project partners, Chamber of Industrial and Commercial Undertaking, CICU in Ludhiana. So I know that more than 20-25 industry associations are a partner to that chamber. So this is how I can correlate. Now moving on to BMOs. So BMO is a functional term, I would say, because BMO elaborates as business membership organization, which says it all. And why we call it BMO? Because it is a term which correlates internationally with other countries also, how they call their industry associations or industry bodies. So I don't think there is any big difference or major difference. Functionally, they all are same. Yeah, but when we move from association to the next level, wherein we have a group of association, we sometimes call it a chamber or a federation. And the other angle, which appears quite practical, is the regional angle. When we have a federation, we talk about a larger region. Chambers definitely restrict to states. Federation is region wise, and yeah, this is how I would like to summarize, because there is nothing which is written down somewhere. So it is all based upon our experience and interaction with different organizations and associations.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Okay. Who would like to go next? Fastest finger first.
Me.
Fantastic.
I have been a debater myself in school, so you can imagine how I can pick up.
Yeah.
Anyway, so federation, when we had this idea, we were toying and how do we do it? We actually had a forum, a small WhatsApp group. It's a long story, we can share later on. And when we wanted to do it as a non-profit organization, we were thinking of association or a company under 2C or a section. And then we looked at our own sourcing hubs. Our own sourcing hubs are primarily not in only India. We have Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Nepal, Vietnam, Indonesia, even China. And that is how we said, okay, let's not make an association. Let's have a federation, because in the coming years, we will have a lot of associations attached to us. And that's how we started. And I think, Ajay, you should be able to do more justice to this, because you are a secretary and you understand better than me. Go ahead, you're muted.
You're going on the right track. I mean, I'm saying exactly, you're saying the same thing. So yes, when we started looking at federation, or whether it should be just an association, at that point we decided that we should be going into a federation, because we have representation in each of the production centers. So that means there are about 11 primary production centers, and we have a good strength in each of those 11 primary production centers, which we would like to create as chapters or as associations in those regions where we would like to collaborate with. Then again, federation is also a level where we could actually invite other associations to collaborate and cohesively work on a project, like what we are doing with eGrowth out here. And in some perspective, in similar ways, we would like to do more with the others in that sense. Like we would like to invite Ms. Ruchika for a tie-up in bringing their entrepreneurs and giving them an insight to what we can do. On the other hand, I would like to tie up with Gaurav Sharma with GIZ and think of how we can help the Indian entrepreneurs from a buying perspective on where the knowledge can be collated, shared, and disseminated to the people. These are two of the relationships which I can say. Of course, with Mr. Pandey's association and organization, we are already working. We're already working with the Delhi chapter. We would love to do more with their national chapters.
We haven't had a chance, Ajay. They have not yet.
We are in the discussion stage, so I would not say, but the international chapter is nearly on board on the discussion level. So I would say that we have initiated. We have already started somewhere. So in that sense, we would like to say that yes, federation, for our larger sense, makes a larger perspective, and then again, associations have their own importance. Without them, how do we organize people? How do we get to say who's representing whom, or who's got the right to speak? I mean, otherwise it will be like a riot out there, everybody putting and asking and answering.
We go, Ajay, we go by the desk actually. We have a Japan desk, we have a Eastern Europe desk, we have a European desk, we have South American desk, Latin American. So anybody who has something to do as an industry with any country, that is where our facilitation in those foreign areas will work for you, whether it's technology, food, agro, or labor-intensive sectors, or handicraft, or home style. I think we have taken enough time. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Atul, go ahead.
Great. So
thank you.
पांडे जी, रुचिता, fastest finger first.
Yeah,
पांडे जी ने हाथ उठा दिया है.
I can go. Okay.
So let's
very well.
reserve the beauty for the last.
so very well explained. I think association is, a common platform where, individual members come together, and that is a representative body for voicing their, issues. Federation is certainly much more evolved, and it's a group of, associations, or, associations are more into specialized, area of activity. Right. Thank you so much.
Fantastic.
I think you've made it, everybody's made it extremely easy for me, but I'll just quickly summarize, I guess. I think associations are when a group of people with a set of, similar interests come together and set up an association. So you have a common goal essentially. A chamber or a federation would be a group of associations that come together actually, and usually would be to move policy and to benefit each other. And I think a council would be slightly more focused in terms of where you deliberate and you have advisory and also some amount of community building. I guess it was the easiest for me because the difficult part of actually trying to put it all together has already been done by the experts before me. But I think simply summarizing, I think that's the difference between an association and a federation and a council.
Fantastic.
I hope I've been able to answer that.
Great. So I'll add to all this. Okay. So if we look at the current structure, we've got something called as the industrial area associations. Okay. The job of the industrial area association is to look at the well-being of that particular industrial area. So they would look at topics like sewerage in that area, electric supply, roads, the basic infrastructure of that particular industrial area. All right. Then we've got industry associations. So for example, we may have a plastic industry association, a rubber industry association, an iron industry. So these can be associations who are pan-India, but are talking only about one industry. So for that industry, what are the concerns? They will keep on looking at it and reaching out to appropriate authorities to, or within themselves also how to resolve that. All right. So next comes a chamber. Chamber generally is agnostic of the industry. It is generally bound to a region, which can be, as Gaurav said, it could be a statewide, it could be a region-wide, it could be a nationwide also. All right. Similarly, so between federation and chamber, I don't have too much of clarity personally. All right. Then we also have another set which are called as the boards. Okay, these are the commodity boards. So if we look at India, so the Ministry of Commerce, they have got industry boards. So we've got spices board in India. We've got a board for spices board is definitely one. Coffee board is there. Tea board is there. These are the bodies which have stake of the government and the industry. The purpose is to increase or take that particular commodity global or within India, do whatsoever. So if there is new technology which has to be brought in, new specialists who have to be brought in, what else can be done for that particular commodity? So that is where the commodity boards come in. Okay. And then we've got councils. Okay. Now this one, when we say councils, there are quite a few export promotion councils. So these are again sector specific bodies whose mandate is to increase export in that particular industry. Okay, so we may have, so we were supposed to have Vikrant Vadhera, who is from SEPC, which is Services Export Promotion Council. So their job is to increase the export of services from India. They are a government body, but they work in tandem with the industry at large. Similarly, we've got AEPC, which is Apparel Export Council. Okay, so their job. So like this, we've got different structures. Okay, now some of them, they are a body of the industry itself. So they keep on working within the industry, which is like a round table. And then there are others who work more on the policy making. So like TIE, there would be some initiatives which they have within the entrepreneurs, And on the other hand, they have linkages with Startup India, because they work predominantly, I won't say predominantly, but they do a lot of work in the startup ecosystem. So they are in a position to do a lot more work with Startup India. At times, they would do work what Startup India is supposed to do, and they cannot do it because TiE has feet on street. They do that stuff for Startup India. Right now, Startup India, that is a special purpose vehicle. That also comes in, that is not defined here. That's a special purpose vehicle created by the Ministry of Commerce in India to take startups to the next level. Right. So I think it was 2015 that they got started. 2015, yeah. 2015 is when Startup India was announced. Before that, we did not have a separate body for startups in India. So like these kind of special vehicles, they keep on coming into existence so that we are able to do due justice to that particular industry. So anything else you people would like to add to this? This is what my 2 cents were there.
No, I think that is very well summarized, Atul.
Right,
you're
great.
right. I mean, I guess that's the difference between each of us. But I think I'd just like to add to say
Please.
that, we have actually become, most of these industry bodies have actually become very interchangeable. And my submission in this panel today is that I guess we all really need to collaborate and build this network and bring in the power of that network to our respective audiences that we are catering to. In our case, maybe the tech entrepreneurs, in somebody else's case, maybe MSMEs and so on and so forth. I think jointly and collectively, we have a lot more that can be achieved together. And we, for one, would be happy to collaborate on this. Thank you for having us here today.
Fantastic. All right. So the next and the most important question is...
Hold on, Atul, building on Ruchika's conversation, we are actually talking to a lot of virtual summit companies. If Ruchika can connect us to some of the Indian techies, we would like to have some Indian techies give us the platform to hold our virtual summits. We are coming up with virtual summits, virtual expos,
Sure.
and as soon as in 2 weeks' time.
Sure. I would be happy to connect you to some of whom that we are talking to. There are also... we are also obviously, as most organizations, we are also moving online. I'd be happy to make the connects.
So Ruchika, on the same lines, if you could please share some of your experience of the virtual summits in the past. Today we are in, I think, the 37th or the 38th day of the lockdown. So what is it that TiE has done? Cornered.
Cornered, yes. So you said we are in the 38th on the 38th day.
Yes.
Chaliya pura hone wala hamara.
So we've done about 40 plus webinars over the last 40 days. An average of at least one a day. I guess we've been supporting what Startup India has been doing, so curating it for them as well. I was telling Atul, when Atul asked us to be a part of this, I told Atul that we are doing so many. I don't know whether we are going overboard or not, because we get, while we get a lot of people telling us we should be doing it, on an average, any webinar that TiE has been hosting is getting anything between 150 to 1,000 people attending it, depending upon, of course, the size and the quality of speakers, etc. So yeah, my experience has been varied. We are getting flack for doing a lot of webinars, but yet there is a whole host of people who want these conversations because it, I think, gives them some amount of...
Ruchika, who would flag you to do this? You are bringing so much of knowledge and so much of business.
No, I guess... no, there are all
people, of course. Yes,
yeah,
you are taking too much.
Yeah, and obviously we are bombarding people with a lot of information, a lot of which,
Exactly.
Frankly, is, for some people it's reinforcement to say that, there are 10 people, they said the same thing. But for others, it's like, ye to wahi baat bar ho rahi hai. So there are all kinds of people. So, but like I said, we can't not address an audience that is largely...
One thing, I missed, just a moment, I missed one thing. This call was till 10:30. We are at 10:43. I request everybody to please extend, and we will be there till around 11 o'clock. This is something. I really
I have a
apologize
meeting
for
at 11,
not having.
so
Yeah,
I
yeah,
leave
please.
at 10:55. But
Yeah, no worries,
Ruchika,
no worries, yeah.
today is our 116th webinar. Holding it every day. Let me build on it. When we were at March 22nd, 23rd, when these things started to happen, so as I said, we are an international connect. We could see this swarming of a tsunami coming to India as a lockdown. We started opening up doors at 12 noon for 1 hour, 5 p.m. for exclusive for buying agents, and 8 p.m. for the global audience.
That's really awesome.
We closed those 3 sessions March 30th, like 2 days before. That now we will only have a daily webinar at 8 p.m. And what we're doing is we are skilling factories. We are asking them to connect to industry, create PPTs, and discuss. So each webinar has been a unique subject.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have 1,000 people coming in, but I would say 35, 40 people are always there in the room, and they have their alarm bell set now for 8 o'clock that we need to be here. So, either watching on Facebook or attending the webinar.
Yeah, I'd be happy to, while I'm sure you have your own set of experts, but I'd be happy to try and see if you need any experts. We'd be happy to plug that in.
Well, we can bring Ty actually on one of the webinars to understand how we can collaborate as FBN.
Sure.
No, even subject specific are welcome. We will be very happy to do that collaboration. Welcome.
Sure.
And I would just like to share that I have not been able to keep pace with the activity at TIE. I was there only for one webinar, and that webinar was being led by Latika, who's the startup ecosystem head at
for
Microsoft India.
That's right.
Along with her, I think Dev Khare was there on that. Dev Khare is from which organization?
He is from LSIP, Lightspeed Ventures.
Lightspeed Ventures.
I'll give you an. Yeah, I'll give you. The lockdown was announced on the 22nd, and one of our largest events, the India Internet Day, was scheduled for the 1st of May. Latika, Dev, Rajan Anandan, Deep Kalera, Vani Kola from Kalari, etc., were a part of that the committee that helps us put together this event, and it's the largest internet event in the country. And we've been hosting it for the last 11 years. We had to obviously postpone it, and now we are taking it on online. The event that you're talking about was, probably one of the first ones to discuss the challenges that were going to come up because of the COVID-19 and the lockdown situation. So yes, it was one of the most well attended ones. I think. How
many people attended?
We had about 3,000 people attended. So, yeah, but I think that also is because of the fact that it is a very, very strong set of people who was putting it together. In fact, they've gone on to the investors have actually come together to create an ACT grant, which is for entrepreneurs who are helping fight and helping provide solutions in fighting COVID. They've also come up with with a note and a paper in terms of how to deal with the COVID-19 situation and how to tide the next 6 months over. So yeah, I mean, we are lucky to have both entrepreneurs and investors supporting startups to that extent.
So luck comes to those who slog.
Absolutely. And to those who are willing to give back. I think more importantly, who are willing to give back. They don't have an agenda in this. No investors.
Exactly our point, Ruchika. Exactly our point.
All right. Okay. So now let's move to the next question before Lokesh says that I am going out. Okay. The next question is, how is it that an entrepreneur, a normal entrepreneur, he can extract these benefits? See, whatsoever conversation we've had, this is really awesome. Okay. Good to know. But how does this good to know becomes mine? How can I make get benefited out of it? This is my pertinent question to you. All right.
All right. Let me start so that people can build. Previously, when we were in the normal situation, in the old world order, we were only thinking of the buying agencies and liaison offices, brand heads, anybody who's coming in doing business in India as a buyer. But as soon as the new world order started to come in, we realized that if we cannot scale our industries, we will not be able to earn our money because buyers expect us to bring them the right set of people, the manufacturers, the production centers. And that's how we started creating a value in scaling. I would say the real key skill of getting factories. Most of our factories are in very labor intensive industries, the Moradabad, Jaipur, Jodhpur, Saran. We are not like technology people. We don't have, I don't have a single amount of business to give as far as a technology company would be concerned. But I have a factory in Moradabad who has 300 people working under them, or maybe 400 people working them. They would be very happy to get a call from a buying house that we have a customer who would like to buy from you. But technology side, I would say not even 0.01% they were there. Apart from WhatsApp or even watching Facebook, they could not do anything. So factories, when started coming on daily webinars, we said, okay, if you are coming here and you feel that you can deliver your presentations, why don't we have a Factory Connect program for you? And after 2 weeks, we started to have a daily Factory Connect program. Right now, we have 30 webinars lined up for each factory. We are now starting 2 factories in one time.
No. So Lokesh, let me bring the question back. The question is, how is it that people can benefit from it, and how is it that they can join?
I'm coming to you.
Yeah,
I'm coming to that.
Yeah.
So as a factory, when somebody is presenting, during the webinar itself, we are also inviting a lot of industry bodies, a lot of experts, expert authorities. You also came in one day. Dr. Tamanna was yesterday there. She was talking about where are the opportunities of creating new products, which are the market you should focus on. So there was a Factory Connect as skilling the individual person as a factory, and also broader knowledge sharing of where the business lies in international forum. So that is how we are connecting to industry in terms of knowledge as well as business to give.
Got it.
Thank you.
Fantastic. So let's move
Pandaji
to the next one.
Yes.
Pandaji.
So you asked even how the individual industry can get benefited. I think more from more than association, from peer-to-peer networking. I mean, a lot of benefits come, and then any success story which association provides to any single industry, entrepreneur, that goes by mouth to mouth. This publicity, and people immediately get benefited. So thank you. I think yeah, anyone else?
Right. Ruchita, you're muted. You need to unmute yourself.
Yeah.
I can go next.
Sorry. Just building on what Dr. Pandey said, I think peer-to-peer networking is probably one of the, everybody has got a lot of gyan to give, frankly. And a lot of this gyan is available online. It's the practical insights that come from peer-to-peer networking, from talking to like-minded founders in the same kind of businesses, founders who have achieved scale in a similar business. So I think at TiE, we bring to you various levels of these growth stages. Mentoring is one of our very, very strong prospects. And starting from ideation to growth stage entrepreneurs, we try and bring to you experts. And when I say experts, I don't necessarily mean academic experts. I mean experts who've actually done it themselves. So I think one of the very strong propositions at TiE is being able to vet your idea, being able to seek advice from people who've actually done it and maybe just done it better or in a better way. Of course, we also assist in terms of a lot of fundraising efforts. We try and put together a lot of these deal flows, which are sector specific, sector agnostic, give you access to a lot of people, and also a lot of knowledge sharing that we do through our events and sessions that we put together.
Fantastic. Thanks. Gaurav?
Yeah, so since I'm not from a association, I'm not representing an association, but yes, I can certainly provide my inputs on how entrepreneurs extract this value. So a lot depends upon individual MSMEs, how they reach out to the associations requirements, because associations these days, they are linked, they have network linkages with different kind of organization, different experts, and even mentors or industry leaders. But it is up to the entrepreneur to reach out to the association with the current set of their, or the exact set of their requirements. A lot of when it comes to developing those set of values within the association, a lot depends upon the executive council, that does it has those visionary industry leaders or leaders from the industry in the executive councils who have a vision to take that association forward, or to cater to the requirements of different MSMEs. So, and the last thing I would say is industries or associations, they need to be a bit more responsive these days, because for next what I can see is around for next more than 1 year, their website is going to be the only face of the association. So it is time to develop upon their virtual interface, be more and more responsive, and whatever value offerings are there, it has to be there on their virtual portal, so that entrepreneurs or individual MSMEs are aware that what kind of services are being offered. So but bottom line is, to extract those values, a lot of thing depends upon the entrepreneurs, individual MSMEs also, that how seriously they reach out to the associations. Yeah, thank you.
Fantastic. All right. So now the last question. So there's no last question. You please give your closing remarks. What did you personally get out of being on this panel? This was one of those weirdest panels you would have ever come on. All right. Second, just share in the chat box, share the coordinates where the people can reach out either to you or to your association to get associated with your association. Got it? Means you may not be the right person for membership. So whosoever is the right contact for membership, please share that so that they can people can reach out to you. Fair deal?
Yes.
So who wants to say thanks first? Lokesh.
I would
Right.
actually have to. I can stay back for 5 more minutes. That's all.
Right.
And
No,
it's an
we've
important
got
connect.
just around 2 or 3 minutes more to go. Yeah.
Okay. First of all, thank you, Atul, for bringing the mega mehot of all the trade associations. Today, you have brought almost like more than 100,000 people actually in the room. I'm talking about the numbers. We are, as you have rightly mentioned in our webinar, that we are a very industry specific people. We are not like common, any entrepreneur can become a member. But yes, if you have buying agents, if you are thinking of becoming a service provider and not actually a product seller, you're most welcome to be a member of us. We have the ecosystem available where you will create a platform for you to grow your business, manage your grievances, and handle where your generation of new business is. And I will be very happy to, and our aim is better together. As Ruchika rightly said, trade bodies today, it is the right time now for trade bodies to give back the maximum to their members in terms of deliverables, tangible deliverables. बहुत हो गया ज्ञान, शुरू के 2 हफ्ते में बहुत ज्ञान बटा वेबिनार्स में, अब धंधे की बात करते हैं कि ये काम कहाँ से आएगा. Thank you.
So are you saying कद्दू कटेगा सब में बटेगा?
बिल्कुल. कद्दू नहीं सर, मिठाई बटेगी. We are coming up with PPE supplies trade expo now, because the whole world is looking at India for PPE supplies.
Right. Fantastic. So thanks, Lokesh and Ajay, for taking time out. Right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, please share your coordinates so that others can reach out to you.
Yes.
Great.
I already did so, and I think Ajay has already done.
Great. Yeah. पांडे जी, I don't know why आपको जो पांडे जी बुलाने में ना बहुत ही मजा आता है. एक अजीब सा सुकून और अजीब सी खुशी होती है ऐसे बुलाने में.
सर ये
अपनापन आता है.
ये लाइफ में ऐसा है. मेरे जब नौकरी देने वाले मेरे एम्प्लॉयर भी हमेशा पांडे जी बुलाते रहे. तो लोग यही कहते हैं सबको नाम से बुलाते हैं, इनको पांडे जी क्यों बुलाते हैं? तो ये है सर. अच्छा, मैं ये कर रहा हूँ कि क्या सवाल क्या था आपका?
सवाल ये था कि जी अगर आप धन्यवाद करना चाहें तो प्लीज धन्यवाद करें, और आपका इस कन्वर्सेशन से क्या टेक अवे रहा है वो बताइए.
नहीं सर, मुझे लग रहा है कि देखिए हम लोग जो एसोसिएशन में है, छोटी सी प्रॉब्लम से लेके इंटरनेशनल प्रॉब्लम तक सारी हैंडल करते हैं. आज हमारे पास ई पास नहीं मिल रहा है किसी एंटरप्रेन्योर को, तो हम वो भी दिलाते हैं. किसी को सफाई करने के लिए स्प्रेयर नहीं मिल रहा है, वो भी दिला देते हैं. और नेशनल लेवल पे जो उनकी प्रॉब्लम चल रही है, उनको सैलरी क्या देना है, आज देख रहे हैं ना सैलरी की प्रॉब्लम. बिजली फैक्ट्री नहीं चल रही है, उनको बिजली का बिल आया जा रहा है. फिर कल को एक्सपोर्ट के लिए कनेक्ट करना, उनको बहुत सारे लोग हैं कि साहब हम प्रोडक्शन तो कर सकते हैं लेकिन हम मार्केट किसको करें. सो मैं इनको एक चीज बोल रहा हूँ कि दिस फेज इज आइदर इट कैन ब्रेक यू और मेक यू. तो आज ये फेज में जितना बढ़िया से बढ़िया आप कनेक्टिविटी कर लेंगे, काम कर लेंगे, उतना ही अच्छा है। देखिए मछुआरा है, जब तालाब जब मछली का सीजन नहीं होता है पकड़ने का, उस समय अपनी नेट जो है जाली नेट है वो उसको बना रहा होता है। तो ये टाइम है, सब लोग अपने आप को तैयार कर लें एंड आपको 9 मंथ में 12 महीने का रिजल्ट देना है। थैंक यू सो मच।
फैंटास्टिक। तो ये कैसा रहा आपका ये आज का सेशन?
सर इज माइंड ब्लोइंग। हमने आपने समझिए कि हमको एक और मोटिवेट किया है अपने मेंबर्स को सर्व करने के लिए एंड आई थिंक ऐसी चीजें और बीच बीच में करते रहे। थैंक यू।
ठीक है जी, सदैव तत्पर। ऑलराइट, हाय रुचिता।
थैंक यू सो मच अतुल। आई थिंक हमको सबको पता होता है कि बहुत सारे एसोसिएशंस और फेडरेशंस हैं आउट देयर हेल्पिंग एंड डूइंग देयर बिट, और मेरे ख्याल से हम अपने ग्रुप को लेके वी गेट सो फोकस्ड एंड so involved in that कि we don't realize that there are other people who can help us serve our community better. So I think इस group से at least my takeaway is that to keep an eye out for who all we can work together with, and I think eventually the aim is the same for everybody कि सब अपने अपने members को maximum exposure देना चाह रहे हैं. So I think what better way than collaborating and working together.
Awesome, thank you, Gaurav.
Thank you for having us here.
Pleasure. Yeah. Thanks. Bye. Gaurav.
Yeah, Abdul. Though we have interacted numerous times, but this was the first actual interaction we had on a platform. It was the entire session was packed with energy, I would say. It was informative, and I myself, with respect to the project I'm dealing with, I felt I'm better connected with people or associations who are, who have done a lot in this troubling time to cater to the needs of their members. So it also gives me, I can reach out to these people whenever I need to address the associations I am working with. So informative, network wise also, I enjoyed it, and I look forward to reach out to each of the speakers in case it comes to me like that. So I enjoyed it.
Fantastic. So great. Thanks a lot for the encouraging words. Ajay, you would like to say something?
I'm happy that I got
Ajay,
okay,
sorry, Atul,
Ajay,
I have to leave. Ajay can take
please.
it over. Thank you, guys. Thank you very
done.
much. I have a team
All right.
meeting in the room.
Okay.
Thanks.
So
Thanks, Ruchika, Gaurav, Pandaji.
Thank you.
Great. So we're done with the meeting. We can maybe be around for around 5 minutes. If you've got some questions, the panelists would be happy to discuss. So panelists, if you have time, if you're not hard pressed on time, please stay behind for another 5 minutes and then we'll wind up. Hanji, any questions?
I think Dr. Prakash has a question.
Yeah.
अतुल मेरा दूसरा कॉल शुरू हो रहा है तो
हाँ जी ठीक है सर, थैंक यू पांडे जी. Yeah. Dr. Prakash, you had a question? Shifali also has a question. Yeah.
Yeah, can I ask a question?
Yeah, please do that.
Hi, thank you, Atul. The panel today was wonderful. It was extremely informative, which actually got me thinking that, see, I am a recruiter and I am yet to come across an association who can truly help. And trust me, we are the ones who are exploited the most. Whenever there is a crisis, our payment is withheld. Our terms are breached very, very often, and there are so many challenges. So I would really love if somebody can just help me, advise and guide, and tell me what do we do in a situation like that, because I haven't seen any sensible association doing anything constructive towards recruiters.
Create an association.
You need to in my opinion, I would say that you need to articulate your question to how you want it to be addressed. It is more than that. If it is in a one-on-one case, then there is always a legal arbitration cell, something available. But if you want to take it up on an association basis, then yes, we do provide a service at our association and in our context of members and industries that we are connected with. We definitely help our members and our associates to resolve on issues. Multiple channels. We will use arbitration, we'll use a legal desk, but we will support and we will help in sense of the industries that we are connected with or in the businesses we are connected with.
All right. Yeah. Okay, I understand your point. So I'll take inputs from both of you. Atul saying create one, and you saying take support. I mean, seek support. So
yeah, absolutely.
Shefali, I have a reverse question to you. What is the challenge actually that you're facing? Are you facing a challenge in terms of in terms of how your business is going, or is it like a specific issue that you want dealt with?
Oh, you opened a can of worms. I'll try to pick it.
So I'll tell you what. Yeah, so we at Thai, for example, we have a special.
So Ruchita has such worms for breakfast. Not the Chinese and not the corona worms, okay?
No, so just to answer your question, there are multiple ways of addressing it. Of course, one is like Atul said, create your own association. And I'm sure, and I haven't really searched for it, but I'm sure there are a group of people who have gotten together in this space. Now, depending upon what your challenge is, I can at least guide you to some folks who are in a similar profession and would have probably faced some similar issues.
Okay, so I'll tell you what exactly the challenges are. See, we usually have a contract that speaks about the replacement clause, the payment tenure, etc. A, our payments are never ever made in time. B, the candidates are asked to leave, the payments are still not made. I mean, and we really don't know what to do. See, our average ticket size varies from 50,000 to 300,000. And as an organization, we have a relationship with these clients. Many a times we are not able to continue working with them because of such unfortunate episodes. For example, a candidate will go for an interview. They will recommend the candidate to another employer. We won't even come to know. They will hire the same candidate few months after, we have introduced the candidate. Though we have a contract in place, which is for a year, that any candidate who comes from us remains our property. The resume remains our property. But they say, no, he was referred by somebody else. You're understanding. There are too many ways.
Yeah. So I think what you are enumerating is something that any industry has, any startup has, because obviously they don't have the muscle to fight it. We can probably talk offline to see how like I said, I can connect you to folks who face similar challenges. Each challenge is going to be very specific and I'm sure that there are a group of people and there is already an association. I can try and check and hunt and see if there are folks who have created a group like this. But this is typically, what you are saying just now is typically what we hear all the day from any kind of startup, any kind of industry. When you start out, these are challenges that are going to come about, and it takes time getting over. The big fish is always going to be there to eat the smaller fish, and they're always going to try and push you to a corner. You have to just wriggle your way out of it.
This is also a challenge with the associations face. People don't want to renew their subscriptions.
Or they will delay it. Or they will delay it.
Yeah, I have not paid my subscription till date for Thai. But I need to.
So what I'm saying is that, this is a business related issue, and most young startups or smaller companies would have this issue.
So I think one of the solutions here is, one part of the solution is building transparent relationships. Okay, your customer does not always not want to pay you. At times he himself is between the valley and the hard rock, right? So at that point in time, he is just trying to save his own money. Okay, so if you are in a transparent conversation with your client and help him out during the time of his own crisis, maybe he'll come back to you and he'll pay you more for that. That's one way of looking at it. All right. And there could be others as well. And
Atul, just one more thing. You see, I'll give you a very,
Shefali, we'll take it offline. Vijay ji is waiting, and Ruchita also has to get into another call.
Sure.
Right? Thanks. Yeah. Bye.
Thanks, Ruchita. I've shared my coordinates. Would be happy to connect.
Done. Yeah. Bye.
Hello.
Vijay ji, Hanji.
I have one suggestion, sir, about the challenges faced by all the industry association members in the field of insurance. Just not to market my products of insurance. Since I'm planning with the big way with the General Insurance Body Council of India also, any challenges that you face, probably we can, through e-growth, we can put up to those council and get the things solved as early as possible. This is my suggestion. Thank you.
All right. Thanks. Dr. Kar, you had a question? Dr. Prakash? You got logged out in between.
No, Atul. In fact, I was just hearing out the conversation. So, like, it was my mistake, I hadn't got rest. Thanks.
No, but when you are pushed into the pool, might as well enjoy it, right? So you can ask your question. All right. Great. Okay. So thanks a lot. For me personally, this was an awesome session. Okay. So I'm not the same person who started this conversation. Okay. I'm definitely a transformed and a much larger person than who I was. So thanks a lot, panelists, for creating such conversations, for taking each conversation to the next level every time there was a question. All right. So virtually, you please accept our acknowledgement. Stay safe, stay hydrated, take care of your families. All of them need you. And one more thing, which I would like to, as an ending remark, okay, the people who are representing the associations, these are the people who are doing it at the cost of their own personal life, at the cost of the life of their families. They take away, they not even borrow, they steal time from their family, and that is how they are in front of you. Okay, we never ever go back to our association guy and ask, dude, तुम्हारे घर में दूध आज आया कि नहीं आया? But as Dr. Pandey was saying कि जी किसी को e-pass चाहिए, he is working on that. किसी के घर में बिल्ली मर गई है तो उसको साफ करना, वो करा रहे हैं, right? So my request to everybody is, please be generous to these folks. Okay, they had no compulsion to run this association. They had no compulsion to create this chamber. They did it out of passion. They did it out of the love for you guys. So thanks for being such loving people.
Thank you for having us here, sir. It was a wonderful, wonderful session. I enjoyed every minute of it.
Thank you, Atul. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Take care. See you.
Thank you. Bye.